Hello again here, it's Tristan from Acre, and I'm just doing a little update on a video I did yesterday where I pressed some soil cubes using our soil block maker or soil cube maker, and then I put them into our seed incubator system called the Cube House. So I've just got it here on the window behind me, and yeah, I just wanted to share some thoughts. So if you see, just to give a little reminder, this is how the soil cube incubator works. There are 4 soil cubes inside that were pressed with the block maker. The cubes are a mix of vermiculite, compost, coconut coir, or core, which is kind of an equivalent for peat moss being unsustainable, and a bit of garden soil from the garden outside here. And basically, it's a very simple container with a lifting lid. It suckers onto the window here using these suction mounts, and just holds them in this space here. Now, you'll see that the soil cubes don't actually touch any of the container except at the base, and that is on purpose because one of the advantages of using soil cubes is that they don't need individual containers. And also, as the seed starts to propagate and grow, the roots are pruned by the air so they don't come and expose themselves on the outside of the soil, unlike plants that you see potted, where you take a plant out of a pot and it's got all those roots entangled in the sides. The fact that it doesn't have the roots exposed means that when you transplant it, it doesn't get root shock, and it integrates better with the soil, starts growing better straight off the bat. So you can also see here that through this little line of holes, I have a line of irrigation, which is gravity dripping from this cup up here. So it's just a pint glass, and I've just dangled the tube in there, and then at this end, I basically just sucked it through my mouth to create the draw of pressure, and then I capped it with this little cap that I actually 3D printed because I couldn't find one that fit the pipe properly. So that's the setup, and I just wanted to share some initial thoughts. One is that although this irrigation line is kind of cool, it's you can keep an eye easily on the amount of water that you have left up there, and once you've sucked it through, it just drips itself. It's kind of difficult and tricky to get the right sized hole for a continuous drip of the right amount of water, because as you can see here, this one's like super soggy, too wet, so is this one. This one's maybe also too soggy, and this one's just right. But trying to identify how to get that hole the exact right size with a pin is a little tricky. So one of the things I'm looking into now is using capillary matting, so that rather than the water dripping from a gravity reservoir, it would be wicking up from a container that we could potentially put. I'm looking into a way we could adjust the system so you could put a mason jar here, which would contain a bunch of water, and then the capillary mat would kind of sit inside that mason jar, and then bring the water out through capillary physics. Bring it out, and then the soil cubes would sit on that same capillary matting and just absorb the water up through the base rather than having it drip from above, which would keep it more consistent and probably more helpful and ideal moisture level in the cubes themselves. But other than that, I mean, there are a couple. This is made out of acrylic, and it's actually probably not the ideal material because, as you can see here, it's kind of sagging in the middle. These side parts, I mean, when you close the lid, sometimes it makes this nice little. It like sits on the plastic itself. It sits on the rest of the component of the assembly quite well and creates a nice seal, but for some reason over the last few hours it started doing this. I don't know if that's because it's moist inside or because the container itself is kind of bent. It looks like it's a little bent. So the material may need to be rejigged and thought about. Aside from that, I mean, it's actually, as you can see here, it is working to an extent as being creating humidity inside. I've actually kept this open for a while, but when I first came over, there's condensation all along the window here, which means that the water's generally staying inside, which is nice. It's kind of giving it that greenhouse effect. But obviously, since it's only been a day since I planted these, we're not seeing any sprouting any sprouting seedlings yet. Should take about, apparently these are all sweet basil, so it should, sorry, basil. My American's coming out there. So this should be ready to go in between 2 weeks to 3 weeks. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm not going to be in England anymore, but I'm going to keep this here and try and get someone in the house here to keep monitoring and documenting it. So that's a little update. Thanks for watching.